Hello everybody, Michael the Librarian of Magic here, finding and cataloging the magical and pointing you to it. Today is October the 28th, calendar as always, and I'm here with another Disney treat, Halloween treat drawing for you today. The same disclaimers on these as always apply, and with all that out of the way, I will jump straight into the drawing. Today's drawing is kind of deeper in the Disney catalog a little bit. It's Mortimer from the 1936 short Mickey's Rival. And I drew him sort of wooing Minnie here because that's kind of what happens in the short. Actually, this is a still directly from the short. Mortimer Mouse was pretty much only featured in this short in terms of live action. He then had a lengthy career in comic books for for about 40 years, from the 40s to the 80s, was especially popular in the Mickey Mouse comic books and comic strips that were done overseas in places like Brazil and Italy. And then he returned sort of in some live action incarnations in the late 90s and early 2000s in Mickey Mouse Works, House of Mouse, and the Paul Rudish version of Mickey Mouse, which came about in like 2013 on. If you haven't seen those, they're on Disney Plus and they're really, really excellent. There are a couple of shorts there where Mortimer pops up, which is kind of cool for them to bring him back a little bit. But he was basically featured in this one short. And he's a pretty big jerk. He's kind of misogynistic, chauvinistic in a way, and just annoying. The short itself was directed by Wilfred Jackson, like I said, in 1936. And in the short, Mickey and Minnie are out having a picnic, and Mortimer drives by and he notices Minnie and hops out of his car. Minnie, it's sort of hinted at or alluded to that Minnie used to date Mortimer. And she's thrilled to see him. Oh, Mortimer, I love seeing you again. Mickey, of course, is not thrilled to see him. And then a couple of gags ensue, and Mickey starts getting treated badly by Mortimer because he's being a jerk. Minnie doesn't really notice that much at first. She thinks Mickey is just being jealous and overreacting. And then towards the end of this short, Mortimer decides to provoke a bull that's in this field in order to impress Minnie. And the gate gets open, and the bull comes out and charges at Minnie, and Mortimer ducks out. He leaves Minnie in peril because he's a sleazeball, and drives off. And of course, Mickey has to save the day, and Minnie remembers why she was out on a date with Mickey and why she left Mortimer in the first place. And all is well again. But he's kind of just a cool character. In terms of design, he was sort of designed to be sort of part Jimmy Durante somewhat in the looks and mannerisms and everything, and the voice, but he's also very obviously inspired to look like Walt Disney, which is sort of an in-joke among the animators from what I was able to gather and in researching for this. Back when Walt Disney Studios was new, Disney Brothers Studios back in those days, in the late 20s, Walt lost the rights to this character, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, and he needed a new character to be a star and headline his animated shorts and everything, and he and Ub Iwerks conceived of this mouse character, and Walt wanted to name it Mortimer. And Walt's wife, Lillian, did not like the name Mortimer. She thought it sounded pompous and depressing, and she suggested Mickey instead. And Mickey is the name that stuck. Well, as sort of as a tongue-in-cheek, inside joke within the studio, this character ended up being named Mortimer. Probably, it's not 100% confirmed, but probably to poke fun at the fact that Walt wanted the original Mickey Mouse to be named Mortimer. And then also it looks a little bit like Walt Disney and sort of Jimmy Durante crammed together. So that's kind of a funny thing about that. The character has never really been featured as a meetable live action character in any of the theme parks. I don't suspect that he ever will. You know, I don't think he's all that known or that popular from his shorts, but it'd be cool if they did something with him. He has been featured in signage and stuff like that at California Adventure, and there's also a place there in California Adventure on Buena Vista Street called Mortimer's Market, which is a food stand where it's sort of a nod to him, I guess. And then also at Disneyland in Mickey's Toontown, if you go to Minnie's house, there's a radio broadcast thing in there, and one of the things you can hear over the radio if you have your timing right is that Mortimer was caught trying to steal a painting of Minnie, and he tripped and fell and put his head through the painting, and when caught and corralled by authorities, Mortimer said, "I was framed, ha ha ha." So there's a few references to him here and there in the parks, but he's not widely popular or widely known, which isn't surprising. I mean, he's not like an all-timer. He's not a favorite, extreme favorite among the fans. I think the people who know the short understand or are fans of the character or interested. In researching this character, there's definitely some websites you can go to. If you Google about the character, you can learn about this short in high detail because various animators worked on the different segments, and there are websites that break down each segment and so on and so forth. If you're very interested in breaking down these shorts, you can get very fine-tuned into the minutia. The character in the short, by the way, was voiced by somebody called Sonny Dawson, by all accounts. These were all uncredited roles back then, but from what I could gather or observe on the internet, most people believe that it was Sonny Dawson. I don't know anything about Sonny Dawson. I couldn't find anything about him, so if anybody knows about anything about his life or career, I'd be interested to know who he was and what he did, if he did anything besides, Mickey's rival, or, if he was even involved in that at all, or how he came to be involved at Walt Disney Studios. It would be interesting to know, but I couldn't seem to find any information in my brief research about this short about Sonny Dawson. Minnie in the short was voiced by Marceline Garner, and I talked about her in my Minnie Mouse video earlier in this month's series, and Mickey in this short was, of course, voiced by Walt Disney. So those are more or less the people who brought him to life, and tons of different animators worked on this one under Wilfred Jackson's direction. And it's just a great short. There's a cool car that's got a lot of character, and there's just a lot of great gags in it as Mickey sort of gets more and more aggravated by Mortimer. So it's a fun character and a fun short, and I was happy to draw Minnie and Mortimer here and add this to my Halloween treats. I kind of wanted to dig deep for a rare one, or a rarer one, and this is one of the ones I came up with. So happy to draw that. Happy with the way the drawing came out based on a still from the short. I thought it went pretty well, and yeah, there you go, Mickey's rival. Hopefully you enjoyed that and learned some stuff about the character if you never did before. I believe the short is on Disney Plus, so if you can find it, go out there and check it out. Hopefully I inspired you to do that. And if you can't find it, the Paul Rudish Mickey Mouse series is on Disney Plus, so definitely give that a watch. It's well worth your time if you're interested in Mickey Mouse shorts and Disney animation and all that stuff. Thanks as always for watching these, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Like I said, if you know anything about Sonny Dawson, I'd be interested to know. Let me know if you happen to stumble on this video and you know anything about that. Let me know down below. Join me for the rest of the month. There's only a few days left, but I'll have treats all the way until the end. Brand new drawings each day. And until then, I hope you're having a great day, and this is a nice little bright spot in the middle of it. And I hope you take care. Bye-bye.